Hello, I was just writing this article about how to reprogram your brain, and I will post it sometime next week, so please check out my website. But I was trying to remember my recovery, and I have mentioned this similar thing in my book, and I think also in some other other videos I have done in the past. But yeah, I want to make a video about it because I think it was kind of like an important step of my mental recovery. So if you know the Minnesota starvation experiment, I have talked about it as well. Then those men, after going through semi-starvation of 1,517 calories, they lost so much weight, and when they started recovery, they binged eat. They of course overeat and everything, but this was extreme hunger and completely normal, and their body recovered and the extreme hunger went away by itself, and they didn't have to restrict, they didn't have to control their hunger or anything. Their body just needed to restore themselves by eating enough. But anyway, so those men said that after many years they were asked that was there any side effects they had after when they went through this eating disorder, and there was no side effects. I mean, in terms of like weight gain or binging or whatever, but only one thing. And to me it was very interesting because this was also what I have experienced. The one side effect that they experienced was that many years they had this fear that the food will be taken away from them again. Of course, it wasn't the reality, the starvation period was long over, but just they had this subconscious fear that the food will be restricted again. So it's kind of like the one mental side effect they had. And also in my recovery, about half a year into my recovery, I wanted to start practicing my normal hunger cues and eating more intuitively, and I knew that I will never go back to restriction though. So it wasn't about restriction that I want to eat less to lose weight or whatever. No, I was willing to gain weight if I needed it, as long as I can recover my normal hunger cues. I just wanted to have normal hunger cues and eat normally, because I had a problem with this binge eating long before my bulimia started. Actually, it started when I first did like dieting. So many years I was binge eating, and I was like, I wanted to have normal hunger cues so bad. So half a year into my recovery, I kind of felt ready to start practicing normal hunger cues, because by that point I think my binging wasn't like so bad as in first experiencing with this like extreme hunger and everything. But still I felt like most times I am overeating and I feel stuffed after meals, and I didn't know like why it happens, why I still need to overeat even though I know that I never want to restrict again. So I try to like tune into my body because I want to listen to my intuition and what my intuition says, and not listen to my ego. Because if you listen to your ego, then your ego will say that, yeah, let's lose this weight, yeah, you eat so much, you should eat less, blah 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 blah. So your ego is very like superficial, but when you listen to your intuition, then you don't actually care if you gain weight or whatever. You just try to tune into your body and feel like what do you need? What do you need? I will do anything, but just tell me, what do you need? I will love you unconditionally, but just tell me, what do you need from me? And what can I do to help this process to be back to like normal eating and support my body and everything? So I tuned into my intuition, and I got this like answer from my subconscious or this like feeling that says that I overeat just in case, because I feel that if I don't overeat, I feel deprived. And I have told this many times in my videos that in my recovery, I hated the sensation of hunger. Whenever I felt hungry, I felt deprived and I felt restricted, and I would like binge eat and overeat, or it would escalate my extreme hunger. And even when I was physically recovered more, I still felt like if I don't stuff myself, if I don't have this feeling in my stomach that I'm completely full and stuffed, even though it didn't feel good, I still felt like, okay, at least I'm not deprived. And I have this sensation that I'm completely full. I don't know if it makes sense to you, if you have had the similar feelings or something. But yeah, I felt like I have to eat until I'm completely like stuffed. So I don't have to feel deprived, because the feeling of deprivation, I even like right now when I remember it, it feels like so negative. Like I don't ever want to feel this like feeling of deprivation. And but the thing is that in reality, I wasn't deprived anymore. I wasn't gonna restrict. I didn't want to lose weight. I was happy to even gain weight if I needed to. I had food in my house all the time. I ate all of my fear foods. I didn't try to eat healthy or restrict anything. But still, like, why I had this feeling of like being deprived, even though it wasn't even like a possibility anymore. I was simply not gonna diet or starve myself anymore, or even like restrict. So I understood that maybe the fear is just a side effect of going through eating disorder and feeling like many years feeling deprived. And I thought that maybe this is only the feeling of my subconscious brain, and because of the habit, you know, the habit of my past of always restricting, purging, over-exercising, and always feeling deprived. In my eating disorder, I always felt deprived. So in my recovery, as I recovered physically, my mind, my brain recovery also needed to catch up. And I had this like fear in my subconscious mind that I need to eat so much so I don't feel deprived. Yeah. And you can tell me if you understand how I explain it. Yeah, but this is how it felt like for me. And I figured that I still overeat because I feel that otherwise, if I don't feel stuffed, then I will feel deprived. Yeah. And this was my past trauma of eating disorder. You know, like when you go through maybe a trauma, some kind of trauma, maybe you go through a car crash or something, and it leaves this terrible memory in your brain, in your subconscious brain, because it's so emotional, so powerful, and it can leave you like this mental scar. Like when you go through a car crash or something, then it's like a terrible experience, and yeah, it can leave you this like mental scar. And even when you don't have any possibility to go through something like this, and you are like generally like safe, and it's not gonna happen, but still maybe every time you see a car, then you feel this fear, because this is a trigger of your past memory. Yeah, and that's why it takes some mental recovery to overcome this past trauma. And in my eating disorder, I felt like this is the same thing that has happened. That I went through eating disorder, always feeling deprived, restricted, either gonna purge or over-exercise or something, and my brain always felt deprived. So yeah. And in my eating disorder recovery, the feeling of deprivation was simply the trauma left. in my brain from my past, and simply the memory of my eating disorder. So I figured that I have to overcome this memory, because there is no real threat anymore of starvation or deprivation, and in my reality I'm never gonna restrict again. I know what it takes to have an eating disorder, but I will never do these things again. I don't want to go back to my eating disorder. I'm completely done with my eating disorder. So I had to start reminding my brain that there is no threat of deprivation or starvation. The food is always there. Like in my kitchen, there's always food. I can always go to the shop, whatever. I never have to feel deprived. And there is no actual need, like physical need, to eat so much, because I was physically recovered. I was normal weight. I had my menstruation. I ate enough. I ate the minimum calorie guidelines, or like above this, very consistently. It was very easy for me to do so. I had quite like a sedentary lifestyle. I didn't compensate my calories. I didn't have any extra stress besides my recovery, and there was no physical need to overeat. So what I did was to start to kind of repeat this thought every day in my head, that like before I will start to eat, and during my eating, and maybe even after my eating, I always reminded myself that I can eat when hungry, stop when full, and there is no need to eat past, or there is no need to eat until I'm feeling uncomfortable, because I can eat soon again. I can eat in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or after an hour or a few hours. Whenever I feel I want to eat, I can eat again. And I don't have to eat more now until I feel stuffed and uncomfortable, just in case. Like, just in case eating didn't make sense to me, because there was no threat of future starvation. So overeating was simply not necessary anymore, because I had food there all the time. So I started to repeat to myself that I can eat soon again, so there's no need to overeat, and the food is always available. Like, the food is always available. And when I repeated to myself that the food will always be available, there is no need to overeat or feel uncomfortable, because I can eat whenever I want again. Whenever I feel hungry again, or just feel like snacking or eating something, I can go and eat, and nobody's gonna stop me. I'm not gonna stop myself or anything. So I started to repeat this kind of thing in my brain, like a mantra, all the time, remembering this kind of thing. And because it made sense, like consciously, it made so much sense. I knew this is not about restricting, but it's about feeling good in my body, and having normal hunger cues, feeling like I'm myself again, and feeling I'm normal again. So consciously I know that this makes so much sense, but I just had to like reprogram my brain, so my brain also starts to know that yes, it makes sense. So let's give her normal hunger cues, because she's never gonna diet or restrict again, and she will always eat when she's hungry. And this is what I did. And I never restricted again. And over time, it kind of like calmed me down and calmed my hunger down, and I had this sense of feeling more relaxed around food, and feeling safe, and like I was truly never gonna feel deprived again, and the food is always there. So this is what I did to reprogram my brain from the past trauma of eating disorder. Yeah, and this is one way you can change your brain. You can start reprogramming your brain, because you have to look inside of your subconscious mind and ask, like, what am I really afraid of, or what is my brain telling me, or what is not I don't know, quite fixed yet from my past of eating disorder. And for me, it was the feeling of deprivation, that my brain always thought that let's eat more just in case of feeling deprived again in the future. But yeah, I started to repeat myself that there is no such thing or no need anymore, because I was never gonna deprive myself. But anyway, I'm starting to repeat myself. But yeah, this is how I reprogram my brain, and I will post a series of articles on my website about this reprogramming your brain stuff and how you can restore your normal hunger cues and intuitive eating, and how I did it. So please go to my website and you can subscribe to my mailing list so you won't miss out any future posts. Yeah, so you can let me know in the comments below what you think about the same thing. Have you had similar thoughts? Yeah, but again, I must say that you have to make sure that you are physically recovered and you truly feel that there is no need for you to have this extreme hunger anymore. Because if you still are in the beginning of your recovery, you are underweight, you were still purging maybe a few weeks ago, you are still over-exercising, then this is extreme hunger. It's not just binging or just overeating, but a physical need from your body. And you can comment down below, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channels for the future videos, and check out my Instagram and Facebook. I have all the links down below. And thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye.